Chelsea Football Club, after refusing to meet the demands of the agent of Victor Osimhen, now turn their sights onto Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal Football Club and Chelsea Football Club not only go head-to-head on the pitch, but they're going head-to-head in the transfer room, because the reality is both clubs are pushing hard, and I've got the fee that it will take to get the player, apparently. Then we've got more information from Fabrizio Romano and Di Marzio, because people only want to believe one source these days. There are two sides to every story. We've got Chelsea's side and we've got Osimhen's side. We'll talk about it because a lot of you attacked me when I said Victor Osimhen clearly rejected Chelsea because his wage demands weren't met. We'll talk about it. And finally, it looks like Chelsea are closing in on Tosin Adarabioyo. This player is from Fulham. He's coming to Chelsea, age 26, no age cap over here as some people are trying to convince themselves. But I'm going to tell you why. I've got nothing against the move, but I hate what this move exemplifies because it's once again a big to Cobham. I won't say it because the algorithm doesn't like it, but it is what it is. Hit the like button. We're aiming for 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel because I want to hear like you guys come back often and us to build a big community. And in the comments below, do you think Tosin Adarabioyo is better at this moment in time than Trevor Chalobah? So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Arsenal Football Club, Manchester United, Liverpool and Chelsea have all been looking at Benjamin Sesko. Their agent is literally going club to club, stadium, executive room, drinking all the beer, eating all the food, having the best time of his life, living lavish, and yet puts out a picture every single time. What does that tell you? This guy's trying to get a move away from Leipzig. He's joined Leipzig last year. He's got a release clause that went from 45 million pounds to 55 million pounds, and that is what it's going to take to get the player. Arsenal have apparently already put a bid of 45 that's been rejected. The player has given them the green light that I would like to join. However, like we've seen with many transfer sagas, the player can tell multiple clubs, listen, I'll come and play for you. I'll come play for you. You just have to get me out of my contract. I've got no problem playing for any one of them. I've said this on many occasions. These players aren't us. They don't owe any football club or nothing. We love Chelsea. We love this club for everything that it meant to us when we were growing up, the rapport that we've built it throughout the years, and for most of us, the dream is to one day play for the club. But some of us just aren't good enough to do it, you know what I mean? So they sit here and talk about it. But the reality is, Chelsea have now turned their sights onto Benjamin Sesko because they believe this deal is a very good deal in terms of two things. Number one, price. 55 million pounds is a fair valuation for a player of his magnitude, purely based on the upside that you can get. And number two, there is a lot of upside. This player is 21, there's resale value in the future, and more importantly, he can come in and contribute straight out the back. If he goes to Arsenal, he's going to have Kai Havertz in front of him and he can have a slower integration. If he comes to Chelsea, Donny is going to be thrown into the deep end straight away and fighting Nicholas Jackson for the move. I don't know which one Enzo Maresca would prefer. However, it is a very good option to have and it's one that we need to keep an eye on. I am worried that Arsenal are going to beat us to this player. However, I'm very pessimistic. I'm always worried no matter who we play. We could be trying to buy me tomorrow. I'd still be worried that the deal might not go through. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Let's move on to the next story and why we're looking at Benjamin Sesko. Guys, a lot of you attacked me yesterday. You know, I said the news and a lot of your sources are crap. You don't know what you're talking about. Guys, I have no sources. I read the newspapers and regurgitate them to you in a nice, comedic, entertaining manner. Alright, I'm basically telling you guys stop reading and watch the Kavkas View, okay? Because I will break down the stories that I read for. It's very simple. I am a news channel. I aggregate the news and come and tell you about it. I have no sources. Please, anyone that thinks I pick up the phone and chat to Fabrizio or David Ornstein and say, oi, Davey, listen, tell Fabi to give me some more news. It doesn't happen. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I go on Twitter, I go on the websites, and I get the news the way you lot do. So the reality is there are two sides of the story coming out. Fabrizio's coming out with one side. Chelsea decided against paying 113 million. They deemed the move too expensive with agent fees, with wages, and they decided that they're going to go in a different direction, and there's nothing wrong with it. I genuinely believe that that could be true. Di Marzio's coming out with the agent side of the story, and he's saying Victor Osimhen's wages weren't met, so he is not happy and he won't want the deal. So for me, both things can be true. I could agree that your wages are crazy and refuse to pay them. That is you essentially rejecting me at the same time by saying you can't afford me. That's literally what happened. Chelsea said, no thank you, we don't want you. But at the same time, Victor Osimhen said, you can't afford me, so I'm rejecting you. It is perception. Genuinely, we get two sides of the argument. And honestly speaking, I genuinely believe that Chelsea dodged the bullet. Victor Osimhen has had one outstanding season in his career. The season with Napoli when they won the league is generationally good. But we haven't seen that on a consistent basis. So spending £113 million on a striker that scored 14 Serie A goals last year, for me, it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't. Honestly, and people are going to attack me, I think Chelsea should keep Romelu Lukaku next year. I genuinely believe if Chelsea want to go into next season with Romelu Lukaku and Jackson, I would be happy with that. Because what I don't want to happen is Chelsea to go spend stupid money on a forward that we're not going to need and it's just a stopgap. Sesko, I get it. Sesko's a long-term investment. Sesko's good enough to contribute now. But if we don't get Sesko and we end up going to get an Ivan Toney, I don't want an Ivan Toney. Under no circumstances do I want an Ivan Toney. And this is the frustrating thing because I think Toney's going to cost a lot of money. There's no resale value in him. And more importantly, I don't think Toney's that quality. Like, you know, Toney's good, but you can always upgrade on it. And Lukaku could just buy the time. But it won't happen because we will literally get Lukaku out because of the high wages. So I'm very nervous about it. I'm happy with him by Victor Osimhen. I think he's a good player, but I just don't think he's worth £113 million. And I don't think that's outlandish to say because there are many players that I rate I don't think are worth £113 million. For example, I think Joao Felix is bloody amazing. I don't think he's worth £100 million. I would have Joao Felix in my team any day. The problem is, I don't think he's worth the money Atletico are asking for it. So this is where the argument comes in. How much is Victor Osimhen really worth? And have Napoli just priced him out of the move? Because that's what it feels like. Genuinely, that's what it feels like. I feel like Victor Osimhen is going to be stuck at Napoli for a long time because no clubs are going to want to pay that outlandish fee that they're asking for him, and his wage demands are ridiculously high. Like, they're literally to make him one of the best paid players in the world. And I don't think he's of the quality to be paid one of the best paid players in the world, my personal opinion. So it looks like Chelsea are really closing in now on the Tosin deal. And Tosin at this moment in time is a 26-year-old centre-back who's going to be 27, I think, in upcoming month. He's 6'4". He's got over 100 Premier League games under his belt. And he's really built himself into a steady Premier League player. A lot of people are doing a lot of gymnastics with his story. They're like, oh my God, we've got an absolute wonderful deal. He's a free agent. And it looks like we have beaten Manchester United and Newcastle to this move. What I want to say is, playing for Fulham and playing for Chelsea is a different job. It's completely different requirements. It's completely different level of concentration that's needed. And it's completely different honing in of your skill set by the media. He makes a mistake for Fulham. No one cares outside of the 20,000 Fulham fans at Craven Cottage. He makes a mistake for Chelsea. The whole of the timeline cares. Everyone in that stadium cares. Sky's going to be using it left, right and center. You're going to be a meme. So it's a big adaptation period. So the reality is, why are we getting him? Well, because it's a good offer. I think I saw a comp of his, right? And I know you shouldn't judge players on comps. His passing is mad. His long passing looks absolutely brilliant. There's one of the outside of the foot that he played. I was like, whoa, what a beautiful pass. Then there's breaking the line passes into the forwards on the ground, like fizzing it through. Really nice, good time on the ball. And Maresca will love that. You can already tell. He's good in the air. So I understand why Chelsea have acquired him. What this means is, this is the end of Trevor Chalobah. And Trevor Chalobah will go somewhere and he'll have a great illustrious career. And what frustrates me about this, and a lot of you are going to say, oh, he goes again. You know, I am not Cobham better than everything type of channel, right? I've never been that type of guy. I was on the side of Mason Mount needs to get sold. I was on the side of, okay, Mark Guay, he needs to go and play. I was on the side of Tammy Abraham isn't good enough. I'm not Cobham is better than everything. However, what I will say, Cobham gives us a benchmark of a certain quality of player that comes through. Someone that could take a bench role, be an example for the younger players coming through that, even if you're not Levi Colwill, even if you're not Reece James, super talented, that will play weekly, there is a route for you to make a good illustrious career at Chelsea. And Chelsea don't need to go and spend 25 million on Robert Sanchez, 40 million on Axel Disasi. They don't need to spend 55 million on Marco Correa, 50 million on Ben Chilwell. When the reality is you've got a Lewis Hall at home, you've got an Ian Maatsen. You don't need to do that. What you're developing at home is better than what you're going for the market for, the average. Why go to Nando's and buy a peri-peri chicken medium when you can go to the supermarket, bring it home and somebody will cook it for you? Either your mum, your wife, yourself if you know how to cook. The reality is we as a club, as an entity, are making mistakes of the past and repeating. We should not have given away Ian Maatsen. Maatsen should be a Chelsea player next year. Trevor Chalobah right now should be our Nacho. How many times have I said that? We got a Swiss Army knife. CDM, right back, centre back, right centre back, left centre back. He can do it all. I'm convinced he can give you a job at left back if needed. Yet we refuse, and now we got Tosin. And I've got nothing against Tosin. I think Tosin is a very good player. However, it also puts us in a position now where we've lost Thiago Silva, we're gonna lose Trevor Chalobah, and we're stuck with Fofana, Disasi, Tosin, Colwell and Badiashile. I like Badiashile. I really like Levi Colwell. I think he's top. I think Badiashile will be top. And that would be my starting partnership because I don't trust Fofana to stay fit. If Fofana stays fit, it's Levi or Badi and Fofana. It's as simple as that. Tosin as a cover. I don't know what we're going to do with Disasi. I genuinely don't. I don't think Disasi is good enough for Chelsea Football Club. I don't think he's good enough to be first off the bench. People will say, oh, but he stayed fit all year. Being fit is not a requirement, consistently to play for Chelsea. It's a problem how many injuries we had. You don't praise players for just doing their job and staying fit. I'm sorry. It's like when people say, oh, but he was available. Okay, he was available, but he didn't play great. Like, I think he's very, very average. And we spent £40 million on him. And now we spent 25 on Sanchez, and that's £65 million that we need to somehow balance the books on. And how do we do that? We're going to have to get rid of Trevor Chalobah. And then Conor Gallagher will go. And you know what? I've got no issue with Gallagher going if it's Andre Santos coming into the team. But I'm getting very frustrated. But it is what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts. Peace out, I'm out. Have a lovely day.